the spare phone I shouldn't have turned on. The phone was the color of apologies. Matte gray, no case, no stickers, no life until I pressed the side button, and it came back like a secret that had been practicing breathing. It wasn't mine. It wasn't hers, not officially. It was the spare we kept for travel in case the country changes its mind about us mid-flight, a joke that sounded less like a joke this year. I'd seen it last in the drawer with stray Sims and a rubber band that had learned patience. Now it sat on our kitchen island between two coffee rings and a takeout menu, lit up and shivering with a notification that said simply, "Tonight 23:10, rooftop. Bring the key." Mara was in the shower. The bathroom door was cracked, steam curling from the hinge like a rumor. I didn't intend to open the phone. I intended to move it so I could wipe the counter. Then I watched my hand behave like a stranger's. The passcode was ours, the one we use for things that aren't about money. 1979, the year her mother arrived in this city with a suitcase full of winter. The home screen was bare, just a clock and a battery percentage that felt accusatory. The messages were named like errands: Atlas, elevator, rooftop. Atlas had a map pin, elevator had selfies of a mirror with a bruise of faces I didn't recognize, and rooftop had a line I could smell through glass: "Don't come alone. Bring the key." If I were the kind of man who believed in snooping as strategy, I would have scrolled. I'm not. I manage other people's fires for a living, hush money that tries to pretend it's philanthropy, foundations that fund both sides of an argument and call it balance, startups that break laws like Knuckles and expect gratitude. I know that information taken without permission is a debt you pay with interest. Still, my thumb hovered. Still, I closed the phone. Mara came out with a towel like a flag and hair like she'd been negotiating with the weather. She saw the phone and saw my face and put both together without blinking. "You picked it up," she said. "I did. And you didn't rate it." "I'm not a saint," I said. "I read one." "Which one?" "Rooftop." She crossed to me and took the phone like a prop. The towel slipped a fraction, and my brain divided into two rooms, one where I wanted to ask better questions, one that wanted to push her against the island and talk with my hands. She set the phone down and set her palm on my chest instead, thumb pressed to the place she calls my hinge. "You're going to ask if I'm cheating," she said. "I'm going to ask if I'm included," I said. Her mouth tilted. "Better," she said. "Yes, if you want to be." "With who?" I asked. "With what?" she said. And that's when I knew tonight would be one of those nights the city offers people like us. Rooms with more than one door, choices with more than one answer you could live with. Mara runs compliance for a platform that claims to connect neighbors and mostly sells the sensation of being upriver. It calls itself a community marketplace. It sells your broken couch and your late-night courage. I've watched her turn terms of service into law when the actual law was too tired. She loves the part of her job that lets her be useful. She hates the part that teaches her exactly how much people will lie for convenience. "Bring the key," I said. She looked at the drawer where we keep the spare Sims. "Not there," she looked at me. "Not that key," she said. "The black one." "Which black one?" "The one for the elevator room," she said. "The maintenance key. Atlas is the engineering lead at my favorite disaster. He found something in the camera logs he can't unsee." "Your app has cameras." "Not ours," she said. "The building. We rent partner rooftops for private events. It's a romance that's good at invoices. This one's a partnership with a branding studio that thinks a skyline counts as a personality trait." I tried to keep a straight face. I didn't. "Don't be cute," she said. "I have to choose a version of myself I don't hate tonight. Come with me so you can choose with me." Say it, I said. She rolled her eyes. Honeysuckle, she said, and then lower. I hate you for making me keep this stupid password. That's why it works, I said, and put my mouth at her shoulder to make up for history. We dressed like people who understood context. Black for her, navy for me, both of us with shoes that forgive running. The building in question sat in a district where new money tries on old brick. The concierge wore a tie that wanted to be a conversation. The elevator had been taught to pretend it didn't know our names. Atlas waited in a hallway with a drinkable air of panic. He looked like someone you'd trust with batteries and children. He had a key around his neck on a lanyard that said someone else's company name. You're here, he said. Good. I don't want to be in there alone. Show us, Mara said. The elevator room felt like the back of a radio. Racks of equipment hummed. Wires made their quiet arguments. A small fan worked harder than it should have. Atlas went to a console, typed a code, and the wall became 12 squares of footage. Lobby, freight, parking, 2 roofs, 3 corridors, 1 mirror. He toggled time backward on the rooftop camera until midnight 2 weeks ago. A party was ending, the kind that doesn't have to end because someone paid not to be told no. Men in suits, and a woman whose dress looked like a dangerous decision, moved toward the elevator. Atlas paused. Here, he said, watch the left corner. The elevator doors slid open to metronomic perfection. 4 people entered. The mirror caught them, and I understood why his voice had been wrong since we arrived. There was a 5th person in the reflection who did not exist in the doorway. A woman in red appeared only in the glass, hand on the arm of a man who looked like he would rebrand treason if it paid. The doors closed. The elevator went down. It returned empty, the mirror honest again. I stared. It's a composite, Atlas said. An overlay, someone's injecting frames. Not pasting faces, pasting rooms into other rooms. This is 5 other nights ghosted into one. It looks like a mistake. It's not. Mara's mouth went thin. Why? Alibis, I said. If you need proof you were someplace you weren't, the camera supplies you a you. If you need proof you weren't somewhere you were, the camera loses you. Atlas nodded. We checked the logs. After midnight, the script serves older footage, gracefully layered. No one notices because no one reviews unless something breaks. It pushes the true footage to an off-site address. The kind of thing you'd want if you were laundering time. Who installed it? Mara asked. Your branding partner, he said. They updated the Experience Suite last month, and they put a clause in the service contract that says the partner can configure presentation effects to optimize the moment. Legalese that turns reality into a suggestion. She looked at me. We're not talking about cheating, she said. We're talking about cheating being made easy, I said. Atlas pulled up another clip. This time I knew one of the men even before the mirror told me his tie preference. Victor Rains, the donor-labeled developer who treats governance like a spa day. He entered at 1:03 with 2 associates, no women. In the mirror, a woman in blue approached him, touched his shoulder, his hand, his face. The body language of intimacy, none of the bodies. At 1:26, the elevator returned from a floor that doesn't exist. At 1:40, a message hit the spare phone on our kitchen island. Tonight, 23:10, rooftop, bring the key. I didn't write that, Mara said, to me or to the room, I couldn't tell. I know, I said, and I did, though I had plenty of reasons not to. How deep is this? I asked Atlas. He rubbed a thumb over the lanyard until it made heat. We rent 30 roofs, he said. 8 with the partner suite. My guess, all 8 have this, maybe more. The lawyer in me, the dead one, says cover your eyes until the billable hours stop. The father in me wants to smash a door on someone's hand. You called us because, Mara said. Because your company has enough spine to say no to money if someone smart writes the release, Atlas said. Because he nodded at me, knows the people who make decisions for people who pretend they do. Because a friend of mine is visible in the mirror on a night she wasn't here, and her husband is going to be shown that clip next week for leverage in a vote about a district that shouldn't be for sale. We were 3 people in a hot room inventing a plan. This is where I'm supposed to say we were smart. The truth is less flattering. We were tired and righteous, and we could smell a story we could live with. We need to pull the real footage, I said. We need the script that injects the composite. We need the contract clause. We need one person to say it on the record and one who can't be discredited. We need to show it to the right bastard at the right hour, Mara said. He'll try to bury us before breakfast. Atlas looked at me like you look at a lock you want to believe is pickable. Can you get us that hour? I can get us 90 minutes, I said. Enough to make a board chair hate the word effects forever. The rooftop looked like every version of itself in every clip. Potted trees that never quite learn to be polite. A view that tries to excuse everyone's behavior. The branding studio had left their ghost machine inside the audiovisual cabinet, neat as a lie. Atlas opened the shell and showed us the guts, a small box with a smug blue LED and a crown logo that belonged to a vendor too well connected to Google. Pull it, I said. If I pull it hard, the partner gets a ping, Atlas said. If I pull it soft, I get the footage and 30 minutes before the ping turns into a phone call. Do it soft, Mara said. I'll write the statement. I stood to her left, close enough to read her face without anyone else seeing mine. This is the part of our work where my mouth wants to be at her ear and my hands want to be everywhere. Because if we're going to set a room on fire with facts, I want a cut of the heat. She knows that about me. She tilted into me just enough. You're distracting me, she murmured. You invited me, I said. Remind me to punish you later, she said, and the word was a promise, not a threat. We pulled the code, we grabbed the contract. We watched a dozen little ghosts touch people who weren't there. At 22:57, Atlas handed me a thumb drive that looked like a mint. At 23:09, the spare phone on the island vibrated again and we let it, because we were in the room the text had tried to prevent us from choosing. At midnight, we were in a board chair's kitchen in a building where men pretend to cook. He'd answered on the second ring because I said the name of the councilman who was about to have his life made worse by a machine. He gave us 90 minutes because he likes waking up with secrets that belong to other people. We showed him the mirror's trick. We showed him Raines's blue ghost. We showed him how the clause read when you translated it with malice. We said the name of his granddaughter and reminded him the elevator in her dorm had a camera. We said the word injunction like a lullaby. Get me the script, he said. I'll get you the warrant. Mara exhaled in that way that makes me want to brace her against the nearest surface and make the room remember it has a body. She looked at me instead, which is the same thing some nights. We're not done, she said. We're never done, I said. We didn't sleep. At 4, a junior attorney with the face of a person who stopped aging at the bar exam showed up with paper that makes doors into doors. At 5, the branding studio's partner called to remind us how much we might enjoy being sued. At 6, a reporter who knows how to watch a clip without repeating every worst instinct asked for a comment that didn't sound like a performance. At 7, the councilman's office leaked the injunction with a single sentence. Public safety includes reality. By 10, The vendor issued a statement heavy with adjectives and light on verbs. Rains posted a photo of a sunrise and a quote about truth that he did not live. By noon, Mara's company suspended its rooftop program and published a policy about cameras that made my heart perform an undignified thing. At 1, Atlas called to say his friend's husband had asked to meet without a camera present. At 2, the board chair sent me a message with a single word: thanks. We went home with sandwiches and a fatigue that made us rude and in love. In the kitchen, the spare phone sat where it had been, sullen and gray, the last text still unread. Mara picked it up and turned it off. Then she turned to me and put 2 fingers in my belt and pulled like a decision. "We didn't cheat," she said. "We were invited to," I said. "Say it," she said. "Honeysuckle," I said, and she laughed into my mouth like a man being forgiven. We made love like people who had been walking on roofs and needed to remember floors. It was not beautiful, it was accurate. Her hands were answers. My hands were questions I should have asked earlier. When she climbed over me, the late afternoon lit her collarbone like it was important. She put her palm on my chest and made gravity remember us. We were careful, then not. We were a room refusing to be filmed. After, we lay with the window open to let the city prove it could be kind. A neighbor's radio played a song that sounded like someone cleaning a kitchen after a fight. Mara rested her head on my shoulder and listened to my hinge. "You thought I was cheating," she said. "I thought you were making a choice I wasn't included in," I said. "I was," she said, "and then I fixed it." "I wanted to burn down the building," I said. "You did," she said. "We just used paper." The next morning the platform pushed an update with language I'd kill to see in the world more. The city attorney wrote an angry letter dressed as a guidance memo. The branding studio blamed a rogue developer named Elise who, by lunch, posted a statement about coercion that I believe and don't. Raines's office sent a PDF full of words like clarify and align. And then he got himself photographed helping a child learn to plant a tree in soil that is not ours. Atlas took a nap with his phone off. The friend he'd worried about texted him a thank you and a photo of a hand without a ring. We don't know the story. We don't need to. The spare phone lives in the drawer again, cold and well-behaved. Some nights I open it to make sure it's still ours. Some nights I don't. Mara hates our password. She keeps it anyway. I hate our work. I keep it anyway. The city keeps trying to dress us in a scandal we didn't order. We keep sending it back. Intrigue is a room with 2 mirrors. Betrayal is a camera with a good lawyer. Love is the difference between evidence and longing. We're learning it. We're in motion. We're not saints. We're the hinges on the doors the city keeps trying to lock from the outside. We get to stay on our side because we keep opening them. And when we forget how, she says the stupid word and I say it back. And it sounds like a key turning twice and a light coming on in a room where no one is allowed to film.